So, I'm Janice of Growing Light Wellness and Yoga.
Hi, Janice.
And hi. And we're at the James Burke Inn for the Johnstown Historical Society. And we're going to do some yoga on this beautiful evening. So we'll start in a seated position, whatever a comfortable seat is for you. If you want to sit cross-legged and that feels a little tight or uneasy for you, you can always sit up on a block to elevate the hips. And sometimes that will help kind of loosen these muscles here. So just rest your hands on your knees, roll the shoulders up, back, and down. Tuck the chin slightly, reaching up through the crown of the head. And take a big, deep breath in through your nose. Feel your belly expand, feel your chest expand, and out through the mouth. And we'll do that just a couple more times as we arrive on our mat and connect with the breath. And get ready to just start moving our bodies. On the next exhale, maybe allow your eyes to close. Bring one hand to the belly and one hand to the heart. And just feel the rise and fall of your hands as you connect maybe a little bit more deeply to that breath. And notice the point in your body where you feel the breath the most. For some people, this is in the nose, in the back of the throat, could be in the chest or in the belly. And just bring your attention to that point and recognize that as your anchor. Remembering that when a ship drops its anchor, it doesn't sink. The anchor helps it stay from on course, from going too far from its destination. So if at any point in this practice you feel like you're headed off course or you're stuck in your head or in the events of the day, just come back to that anchor breath and let it help you get back on track. One more inhale here, and we can open our eyes and let the hands drop to the sides. And we'll inhale, lifting the arms overhead. And on this exhale, turning the palms out, hands come back down to the sides. Feel how your hands, your arms, your shoulders move with that breath. Try not to let the shoulders creep up into the ears. Let the shoulder blades move toward each other on the back. Good. And this time we'll inhale, the hands up overhead, press the palms together, and bring the hands right down through the middle to heart center. Press the thumbs into the heart, reconnect with that breath, connect with your heartbeat. Just release everything that you don't need right now, that every conversation that you had today, maybe stuck in traffic or any aggravation, you can just let that go and let yourself be in your bubble on your yoga mat. One more inhale here, and exhale, release the hands. And we'll start to move the spine a little bit, so bringing the hands to the knees. As you inhale, shift your chest forward, and then as you exhale, you'll round the back. So it's this stirring or rotational motion. I tell people it's like you're stirring a big pot of yoga soup. So getting that full arching and extension of the back. As slow or as quick as it feels good to you. You can even close your eyes here if you want to. As big or as small as you want those movements to be. This is your practice, so make sure that you're doing what feels good in your body. If something doesn't feel good for you, feel free to modify it or skip it. Let me know. I can help you make modifications to any of these poses that we're going to do together today. On the next exhale, start to change directions. So if you're going clockwise, you're now going to go counterclockwise and vice versa. Just finding that rotation in the spine, the upper body rotating around the hips. Counteracting the sitting that a lot of us do during the day. And then we'll come back to center and find that center stillness again. So this time I want you to creep your Left hand out a little bit away from you, so drop it down to the side and just walk it out a little bit. And as you inhale, sweep that right arm overhead. You can bend the left elbow and do like a side bend. So left butt cheek kind of still rooting into the mat. Good. And then we'll inhale, coming back up. We'll crawl that left hand out as the right hand comes up overhead. And on the exhale, coming over, to the right. See, when I mirror you guys, I get all messed up. We'll inhale, come back to center, drop the left hand, crawl it out, exhale over. Inhale back to center, drop the right hand, crawl it out, exhale over. Good. Inhale back to center, arms coming up, reaching up to the pinky finger, and exhale, turn the palms out, coming back down to the mat. Let's flip over onto our hands and knees here. So you're going to come into what we call a tabletop position, which is like an all fours position. So the hands are underneath the shoulders and the knees are underneath the hips. So kind of like a 90 degree here. Good. And you're rooting in through your fingers like you're gripping a ball or digging through sand. So really pushing in through the knuckle here instead of through the back of the palm, because you want to take some of the weight off that wrist. So you're pressing down, you're pressing down onto the mat, but putting the weight more into the fingers. And then on the inhale, you're going to lift your chest, lift your tailbone, let your belly drop toward the mat. Good. And then exhale, round the back like a cat. So inhale, chest lifts, tailbone lifts. Can you do that? And then exhale, round. So, good. Inhale, chest comes forward. Just let your belly dip toward the mat. Yeah, there you go. And then exhale, round the back like a cat. So inhale, you're going to drop your belly, like your center of your belly, and see if you can lift up through your chest. Good. And then exhale, rounding like a cat. Awesome. So arch this back up. Good. Yeah. How's that feel? So just a few more of those, moving with your own breath.
That feels good. It's kind of invigorating.
Yeah. And then we'll come back to that tabletop. And on your next inhale, lift your right arm and just extend it out towards the front of the mat. Good. And then exhale, bring it down. And then we'll inhale, lift the left arm and send it out. And exhale, bring it down. Good. And then we'll inhale, lift the right leg and send it out long in back of you. So press into those hands, into those fingers. Good. And then exhale, set it back down. Inhale, lift the left leg, send it out long behind you. And exhale, set it down. Good. And this time, we'll inhale and we'll reach the right arm and the left leg out. So opposite arm and leg. Yep, good. And just reach through the fingers, reach through the toes, and then exhale, set them both down. Great. So we're working on our balance. We're building a little strength. Inhale, reach the left arm and the right leg out. Reach long through the fingers, long through the toes. Awesome. Exhale, set it down. Good. And then let's just do a couple more of those cat and cow that we started with. And then we'll come back to the tabletop. And I want you to bring your big toes together. Bring your knees nice and wide, kind of to the edges of the mat. You're going to sit your hips back towards your heels. So like you're going to sit your butt on your heels. Like this. And then start to walk your hands out in front of you. And let your head come down to the mat. And if your head doesn't go there, that's okay. We talked about these blocks, so if you want, you can put a block under your forehead. How's that?
Do I have my hands right?
Yeah, hands are great. If that feels like too much on your shoulders, you can also bring your hands down next to your sides. So this is called child's pose. And if this feels good to you, this is a great place to come back and rest whenever you need to. So just taking a few breaths there, Feeling the front of the body expand, the back ribs expand, the sides expand. And again, just releasing all the effort that you don't need here. And on your next inhale, you're going to start to crawl your way back onto your mat, onto your belly. So all the way down onto your belly. So you can slide that block over. You're going to bring your hands underneath your shoulders. So you're resting down onto the mat. And on the inhale, watch my shoulders. You're going to pull your shoulders and your elbows towards each other and just peel your chest just slightly off the mat. You don't have to go super high. Almost like where you could lift your hands up and just be slightly peeled off, reaching out through the chest, kind of like we did in that cow pose. And then exhale, lower. So that's your cobra pose. So you'll inhale, pulling the shoulders and elbows towards each other, lift into your cobra. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Now let's go back to our tabletop. The next transition is a little bit tricky, so definitely ask me questions, okay, if you are not getting it. So walk your hands out just a little bit further. Good, perfect. Press down into the hands and into like the thumb and index finger. Tuck your toes, so you're tucking all 10 toes here. Let's see. And you're going to push into your toes, start to lift your knees, and lift your hips toward the sky for downward facing dog. So you're kind of making an upside down V. Bring your feet a little bit wider apart, Erin. Yeah, awesome. So you're pressing your heels toward the mat. They never have to get there. You can bend your knees, press into the hands, lift the hips. Beautiful. One more inhale here. And then on the exhale, you're either going to walk your hands towards your feet or your feet towards your hands, whatever feels more accessible. You can also come down to your knees first if that feels better to you. So walk your hands towards your feet. Good. And you're going to, when you get there, all the way back. So you're, yeah, so just start to come down onto your feet. Yep. So you're here, and you're going to walk back so that you're in this forward fold. Good.
Like this?
Yeah, so straighten out your legs. So you're standing and you're leaning over your legs like this. Yep. Awesome. So this is another great place for the blocks. You can put the blocks under your hands here, and that can be really helpful. How does that feel?
Good.
And just let your head and neck relax, maybe shaking the head yes and no. Just letting yourself hang out here like the top of your body is a waterfall, just cascading over your legs. And on your next inhale, you can bring your hands to your legs or your hips to support you and just start to come up one vertebra at a time. So one little incremental move at a time. You're going to come all the way up to standing. Good. And then we'll step to the front of our mat so you can bring your blocks with you. And we'll find our mountain pose. So just like we had that seated pose that we started in, mountain pose is going to be your base for your standing poses. So feet are about hip distance apart. Good. See if you can lift your toes up off the mat and spread them nice and wide and then plant them back down onto the mat. It's tough if it's not something you do all the time. And then we'll inhale the arms up overhead. And exhale, turn the palms out, bring the hands back down to the sides. Good. So as you root in through all four corners of your feet, so big toe, pinky toe, both sides of the heel, you'll feel the arches of your feet lift, kind of the muscles engage in your legs. Rotate your thighs toward each other so you're not like kind of splaying out. Good. And then roll your shoulders up, back, and down.
I feel like, are my feet too far apart?
No, you're good. Are you comfortable there? You might want to step it in a little bit, yeah. Just, and if that doesn't work, just find like what feels natural and good to you there.
Oh, that's
yeah. And
I
then,
always feel like I'm like stepping wider or
yeah.
more narrow
Yeah.
than everybody
Yeah.
else, but that's what's comfortable.
And
for me.
everybody's stance is different. Everybody's hips and joints are different. So, you know, you find what feels right
I
in your
shouldn't
body.
be standing straight up. I should be
Nope,
more.
you can be standing straight. So this is like really subtle. It's not like you're bringing your knees toward each other. You're
Okay,
just kind
that's
of
what
like
I was doing.
pulling your inner thighs toward each other. Yeah, perfect. And then roll your shoulders up, back, and down. And then what I like to do is turn my palms outward like this. So the hands come to the sides, palms out, tuck the chin slightly, reach up through the crown of the head. So a little bit less tucked. Yeah, like right there. Pull your ears back over your shoulders. Good. How's that feel? So this is like your standing base, you know, mountain pose, like your strong, steady standing pose. And then we'll inhale the arms up overhead. And exhale, turn the palms out, hands back down to the sides. Good. And we'll do that one more time. Inhale. And palms to the side. And this time we'll inhale the arms up overhead. We'll interlace the fingers. See if you can shrug your shoulders down a little bit so they're not up in your ears. Flip the hands up toward the sky if that's available to you. If not, you can stay like this. One more inhale here, and then exhale over to the left.
Should I be taking really deep breaths when you're saying to breathe? Or should I be taking just normal breaths?
You can take normal breaths. You know, if the deep breathing feels good to you, that's great. As you do things that are a little more strenuous, you might find your breath deepen a little bit. You know, just like when you're exercising.
Okay.
And then we'll inhale back to center and exhale over to the right. And right now, I mean, this is new to you, so it may take some time to like really coordinate the movement with the breath, but you're doing great.
I find myself taking really deep
Yeah.
breaths, and it's kind of like I'm exerting myself too much.
Yeah, and
by
then
taking deep breaths.
inhale back up, and then we'll release the hands. So what you can do is, for now, maybe focus on the movement and like listen to the cues for the breath. But if that doesn't feel right for you today, that's okay. It usually takes like a little bit of experience with the movements, right? Before you get the complete like joining of the two, you know. We'll step our feet a little bit wider apart and let your hands just rest at your sides, so nice and loose. And start to turn your upper body with the hands just kind of hanging free, so no weight or effort in the hands. Just letting the hands wrap around the body, make contact with the waist. Just moving here in whatever way feels good to you. This is kind of like a playful movement. You can lift the heel if that feels good to bring it more into the hips or keep it in the spine. So in my teacher training, they call this willow tree. And in Qigong, it's also called knocking on the door of life. So because your adrenal glands are here and a lot of your vital organs. So you can bring one hand to the chest if that feels good to you as you turn. And even tap over the shoulder if that's available to you. And then we'll start to make our way back to center. And find that stillness again when you're ready. Good. So just taking a breath in our mountain pose. Great. And we'll step to the front of our mats. And we're going to link some of those movements that we did together, okay? So we'll go nice and slow into a sun salutation. Is it easier for you if I face you? Do you think that you see me better that way, or do you want me to stay like this? Good. You're good?
I can follow you whatever.
Okay. So we'll start at the front of our mats. Find your mountain pose. So roll those shoulders back. Good. Inhale the arms up overhead. And then as you exhale, fold forward into that forward fold. So upper body folds over the lower body. On this inhale, you're going to bring your hands to your shins or to the blocks, and you're going to lift up halfway. So you're going to reach out through the crown of your head, kind of make the back nice and long. Good. And then exhale, fold. Plant your hands on the mat, and as you inhale, step back into plank pose, which is the top of a push-up. Good. Great. Awesome. And as you exhale, lower your knees and lower all the way down to the mat. Inhale, pull the shoulders and elbows towards each other, lift up for your cobra pose. Awesome. Exhale, lower. On the inhale, you're going to tuck your toes, push into the hands, maybe moving through tabletop, lift your hips up and back for that downward facing dog, that upside down V. Good. One more inhale here. And then you can either walk your hands to your feet or your feet to your hands. You're going to move back into that forward fold. So walking back, straightening the legs into this folded position. Good. Inhale, lift halfway, so hands come to the shins, reaching out through the crown of the head with a nice flat back here. Exhale, fold. And then inhale, rolling all the way up to stand, bringing the arms up overhead, palms together, hands to heart center. Great. That was your first sun salutation. You're officially a yogi now. So you can step to the front of your mat, and we'll do that again. And these are great because, you know, they're movements that you learn pretty early on, and you can link them together. You can do them slow, and they can be very restorative. You can do them fast and even get some like cardio out of it once you get used to the movements. So we'll inhale the arms up overhead. Exhale, folding forward. Awesome. Inhale, hands to the shins or the blocks and lift up halfway. Exhale, fold. Inhale, plant the hands on the mat and step back into your plank pose, so that top of a push-up. Exhale, lower the knees and lower the body all the way down to the mat. Inhale, press into the hands, bring the elbows and shoulders towards each other, lift into your cobra pose. Great. Exhale, lower. You're going to tuck your toes and start to lift the hips up and back for that downward facing dog. Great. Head and neck are relaxed, hips are reaching toward the sky. Maybe you pedal the feet here, so like bend the left knee and press the right knee towards the mat, or the right heel towards the mat. Bend the right knee, press the left heel towards the mat. Good. And walk your dog. One more inhale here, and then we can move into that forward fold. So hands toward the feet, feet towards the hands. And we'll inhale and just roll up to a standing position. Arms come up overhead, palms together, hands to heart center. Downward dog can be kind of an intense pose. Eventually it becomes a place that you can rest once you get used to it. But for now, if it gets too intense, you can always move into your child's pose where you drop the knees and let the head come to the mat. And we'll step to the front of the mat. And we'll do some variations on that. So we'll inhale the arms up overhead. And exhale, folding forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Now, if you'd like, you can use the blocks here under your hands. I like to put them on the tallest height. And when we inhale, we'll step our right leg back. So you're in like a lunge. Good. Lower the right knee. You can keep the toes tucked or you can relax the foot. I like to relax my foot. Bring the blocks in so we can lift the chest. So you can bring the blocks to either side of you. Awesome. So lift your chest nice and high. And if you're comfortable here, you can either stay here or you can inhale and lift the arms up overhead. Good. You okay?
Yeah, my back is
And then exhale, spread the arms nice and wide like cactus or goalpost, so you're opening up through the chest. Inhale, lift the arms overhead. Exhale, bring your hands back to the blocks and start to straighten out that front leg. It doesn't ever have to be straight. You can, and then point your toes kind of towards your nose. Shift back just a little bit in your hips and lead with your chest. Good. Awesome. That's great. Inhale, come back into that low lunge. So you're going to bend that knee now and come back into that kneeling. Yep. And then we'll tuck the toes of the back foot. So the right leg, tuck the toes, lift the knee, and step forward. Good. Awesome. And then we'll roll back up to stand. Arms coming up overhead. Exhale, palms together. Inhale, lift halfway, so hands to the shins or the blocks, reaching out through the crown of the head. Exhale, fold, and you can bring your hands to the mat or to blocks. And you're going to step your left foot back, lower the knee, untuck the toes maybe if that feels good to you. Is it your knee?
It's my knee and my back.
You could come into a seat and do the breathing maybe.
That's fine.
Yeah. And you can either stay here or you can bring your hands to the thigh. Good. So see if you can pull that knee in a little bit because you're kind of going out to the side. No, right where you are. Your foot stays where it is. So your knee is above your ankle, but you're almost like you're zipping the inner thighs towards each other. That's great. That looks better. And we'll inhale, lift the arms if you feel comfortable there. Good. Exhale, cactus the arms open. Inhale, lift the arms. Exhale, hands come down, and you start to straighten that front leg. Pointing the toes toward the nose, shifting back a little bit with this hip, the left hip. Good. And then we'll inhale, putting that foot on the mat again, bending the knee, moving back into your low lunge. And then let's tuck those back toes, come up onto the left toes, and then step the left foot forward to meet the right foot. And then we'll roll all the way up to stand, arms coming up overhead. Exhale, palms together, hands to heart center. Great. And we'll work on a little bit of balance. How's your balance today?
We'll see.
How do you feel about that? Feel okay with some standing? Good.
It's just
Yeah. The kneeling can be tough on the back. So we'll step our feet just a little bit closer than we had them for mountain pose, if that feels good to you. But we're still going to spread the toes out and press down through all the corners of the feet. And then you're going to shift all of your weight and attention into your right foot. So shifting all that weight, all that attention into the right foot. Start to peel your left heel off the mat and open that knee out to the side. Good. Press your left foot against your right ankle. Awesome. You're good, you're good. See if you can straighten up just a little bit. Great. Good. And then you can exhale and release that. So that's a great starting point for tree. So now we'll shift all of our weight and attention into the left foot, and one side might feel totally different than the other side. So lift that right heel and open the right knee out to the side. Bring that right foot against the left ankle. Ooh, see, like I'm pretty wobbly on this side. It's also tough when the ground is a little uneven.
I keep sinking into it,
Yeah.
so I've got like lumps going on.
And if you feel good here, you can see if you can lift your hands up overhead or out to the sides for balance, or bring your hands to your heart. Beautiful. All right. And then we'll release that. So let's try that one more time on each side. So you might, you could try standing in a different spot if you feel like where you're standing is a little wonky. Like I totally set my mats up on like a little tiny hill here. So we'll put all of our weight and attention into that right foot. We'll lift the left heel, we'll swing it open to the side, and then we'll bring that foot in. Good, so you're feeling a little better there. So you can press in to the ground with that right foot and really press that left foot against the right ankle. Awesome. If you want to try coming up a little higher, you can bring it up onto your calf, keeping that knee open out to the side, avoiding your knee joint. Good. And then finding a place that feels good for your arms. That was great. And then exhale, release. Great. And then we'll go to the other side. So we'll put all of that weight and attention. Spread those left toes out nice and wide if you can. And then really press in evenly through that foot. Lift the right heel. Swing that knee out to the side. Press the foot into the ankle. So you're like pressing them against each other, right? And then pressing down through that foot. Lifting up through your chest into the crown of your head. Maybe finding a point that's not moving that you can bring your gaze to help you keep your balance. Open that knee out to the side. Awesome. So you should feel that opening through the hip. And then if you want to try bringing it up, really press that foot and leg against each other. Good. That's great. And then exhale, release. It gets a little windy in that pose. Yeah. So.
Okay, but I can do it. That's
Yeah.
taken me forever to be able to do that.
I know,
I
it's
can stay up
awesome.
a little more than a half a second.
So it takes time, you know. I think that standing on one leg is more difficult than we think it is sometimes, but it's also like really, really good for you because it's a really efficient way to strengthen the small muscles in your ankle and your foot and stuff. So let's step to the top of our mats and we'll find our mountain pose. And on the next inhale, step your left foot back. Keep all 10 toes pointing toward the front of the mat, so all 10 toes pointing in the same direction. Bend your right knee so your knee is over the ankle. See if you can bring your upper body up, Erin. Good. Yeah, so you can bend that back knee a little bit if that helps, because you want to try to get more vertical there. Good. How's that feel?
Good.
Good. So, and then we'll lift our arms up overhead. And then when we breathe out, I want you to turn that back foot toward the long edge of the mat. So you're going to turn your left foot. Yep, keep this right knee bent. And then spread the arms out nice and wide to the sides. So bending in through that right knee and kind of tracking it out towards the pinky toe side of the foot. Good. And your hips and your left toes are pointing toward the long edge of the mat. Good. So,
Comes out like this.
yep, but you're going to be like this and bend this knee. And then it's like you have an invisible line from the heel of your right foot to the arch of your left foot. So pretend there's like a fishing line or something between those two things. And look out over your front middle finger. So over that right middle finger. Good. Warrior two. Flip that right palm up. On the inhale, sweep it up over your head. Let that left arm come down the left leg. Awesome. Reverse warrior. Inhale, come up into warrior two. Straighten that leg. And then step the left foot back to the front of the mat. Great. And we'll find our mountain pose again. And then I'm going to go down here so that I'm not facing away from you guys because we'll do it on the other side. Okay, yeah, so left foot in the front. Okay, so we'll inhale here, step the right foot back. So finding that bend in the front knee and see if you can lift your back heel and point all your toes in the same direction. Yeah, good. And really reach up through the crown of the head, through the chest. Awesome. One more inhale here, and then on the exhale, turn those right toes to the long edge of the mat. Bend through that left knee. Nope, left knee. Yep, good. Like there's an invisible line from the arch of the back foot to the heel of the front foot. Hands are about shoulder level. Great. Flip your palms up, and then flip them back down, because that kind of opens up the shoulders a little bit. And then look out over that left middle finger. Good. Flip the left palm up. Inhale. Reverse warrior. Exhale, warrior two. And then turn your left toes to match your right toes. So now all your toes are facing the long edge of the mat. Bring your hands to your waist. And on the inhale, you're going to do almost what you did in the cobra pose. So bringing the elbows and shoulders towards each other, lifting the chest. And on the exhale, leading with your chest, you're going to come down into a wide-legged forward fold. You can use your blocks here if you want to put your hands on. Or you can put your hands on the legs, whatever feels good to you here. Relax your head and neck, maybe shaking the head yes and no. maybe rocking a little side to side, feeling where the weight is in your feet, maybe shifting back and forth between the ball of the foot and the heel. There's this saying that we don't use the body to get into the poses, we use the poses to get in through the body. So we can access our minds and our emotions and all those deeper parts of ourselves by first starting with the body. On the inhale, bring your hands to your legs, start to walk your way back up. Good. And then we'll step back to the front of our mats. And we'll inhale the arms up overhead. Maybe even taking a little back bend here, so from the upper back, just coming back a little bit. And on the exhale, send your right arm back and your left arm forward so you're in like a standing twist. Good. And then on the inhale, let your left arm come down and your right arm come up over your head, so it's almost like a swimming motion. And you're going to move to the other side, yeah. So let's see. Yeah, so basically right arm comes forward, left arm back. Yeah, awesome. And then you'll let this arm come down, let this arm come back, and move to the other side. I know, that's a tricky one. So, let's see. So we're here. And so from here, you're going to let this arm come down, this arm come up, and kind of spin. It's a little awkward. Yeah. So you could also just start here with your arms up and open to one side, come back to the center, and then open to the other side, which also feels really nice. And then we'll come back to center and we'll bring the hands down to the sides. And let's one more time come up, one more time come down into our forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift with the hands to the shins, reaching out through the crown of the head. Exhale, fold. Plant the hands, and this time step right back into your downward facing dog. So step the feet to the back of the mat and reach up through the hips. So you're in that upside down V. Good. And a couple of breaths here just to reach through the hips, loosen up through the calves, pressing the heels toward the mat. And then on your next exhale, lower your knees to the mat and come briefly into your child's pose. So pushing the hips back towards the heels, reaching the arms either out in front of you or back along your sides. Yep, yeah, you can put a block under there, or you can use your fists if your head isn't comfortable there.
Oh, it's okay.
Good. And just releasing that tension, that energy we created during our standing poses. Just returning to your breath. Knowing that yoga is a constant balance between effort and ease. Sometimes we find more of one than the other. And on your next inhale, you can start to walk your way up and come into a seat. And we'll bring both legs out in front of us first, hands at our sides, lifting up through the chest, pressing in through the hands. So finding that same kind of long spine that we found in our mountain pose. Great. And then bend your left leg and press your left foot into your right thigh. You can open that thigh, you can open that right leg out a little bit more toward the side to make some space here. Good. Inhale the arms up overhead. And exhale, fold forward here.
Oh, that's not.
Yeah. So you can, wherever you get to is perfect.
This is the farthest.
That's fine. Here, put your hands on the blocks.
So this is where I'm at.
Yeah. So again, use your blocks. One thing that you might want to try If not today, like maybe if you're working on it another day, is you could even sit up on like a blanket or a block when you do it. It feels a little less stable, but it gives you a little bit more mobility in the hips. But that's great. Using the blocks here gives you a lot more ease. So just relaxing your head. And then coming back up to sit. And let's bend this left knee and bring that right leg in. And we'll hug this into our chest and just lengthen up through the chest and the crown of the head on the inhale. And then on the exhale, we'll go into a twist. So you'll drop that left hand behind you, and you can either keep this knee hugged in, or you can bring your elbow to the outside of that knee. So you're going to drop, yep, good. Maybe bring it in just a little bit closer. You can even set that hand on a block if that feels good. How's that? Is that better? No? Okay. And just breathe in and lengthen. And then exhale, just gentle twist. Good. One more inhale there. And then we'll untwist. Good. So we'll move to the other side. We'll bring both legs straight again for just a second. We'll bring the right leg in and send that left leg out a little bit to the side. Remembering you can use your blocks here if you want to. And we'll inhale the arms up overhead. Lengthening, leading with the chest, start to fold forward. And as far as you go is perfect. You are perfect just the way you are. There's always room for improvement. Pressing in through your sit bones, otherwise known as your butt. Leading with the chest. Good. Just releasing any tension here. Just maybe scanning the body and seeing if there's anywhere that you feel like you're gripping, like in your shoulders or your jaw, and just seeing if you can release some of that, like your muscles are able to melt that tension right out of them. And then we'll inhale, coming back up to sit. We'll bring that left leg to the front, bend the right leg, hug it in, bring ourselves up to a nice tall seat. And then we'll drop that right hand behind us, hug that right knee. Inhale to lift and lengthen, and exhale to twist. And it doesn't have to be a deep twist at all. I mean, it could just be looking at that knee. That's great. Yeah, and one side is always different than the other, you know? One more inhale here, and then exhale, coming back to the center. Let's kind of shake it out here. Bend the knees, bring the soles of the feet together. Yeah, maybe give yourself a little massage here. And you can stay here if this feels like enough, or you can inhale to lengthen. And exhale, just let yourself round here. Just let yourself round and come down over the legs. You can use your blocks here too. You can either use them stacked, like maybe even set your head on them, or you can use them for your arms, whatever feels good.
And move forward as much as.
Yeah,
Like
just
this?
let yourself round and release here. Is that too much on your legs? Because you can also like put blocks under the thighs if you want to. Just let yourself feel your body move with your breath. Rise as you inhale. Release as you exhale. As if you were a balloon, just inflating and deflating. Moving with your breath, moving with the breeze. And on your next inhale, let that breath breathe you all the way back up to a seat. And we'll bring the legs out in front of us. And we'll come down onto our backs. So first, I'll make sure you can see me, Erin. You'll bring your knees into your chest like this. So you're kind of like curling into a ball, but then relax your head, neck, and shoulders onto the mat. So knees are in, but head, neck, and shoulders are on the mat. If you can't grab around your knees, you can always bring your hands to your thighs, the backs of your thighs. And maybe just let yourself rock back and forth a little bit here. Feel how that feels in your low back. Maybe make some circles. Give yourself a little massage.
Should my back be flat on the ground?
Your back can, your back can come up a little bit. Your lower back, you want to try to keep your head and shoulders on the mat. You can bring your knees apart if that feels better, so the knees are kind of more towards the armpits than hugged into the chest. Good. And then inhale, set your feet on the mat with your knees bent. So your knees are bent, feet are on the mat. Good. And inhale, send your left foot up toward the sky. Good. And maybe you can grab around the back of your left thigh and just gently pull it towards you. No pressure here. This time, maybe trying to keep your low back on the mat. And as you exhale, bend that left knee and place your left ankle on top of your right knee. So you're in like a figure 4. Good. And you can stay here, or you can reach in between the legs here and grab around the back of that right thigh. Head, neck, and shoulders go back to the mat. So upper body is on the mat. Yep. And your feet are nice and active like you're standing on them, so they're kind of flexed, your feet. And you can gently pull this towards you as you kind of push that away. Good. So you're gently pulling that right thigh in, gently moving that left knee away. Maybe rocking a little if that feels good, or maybe just resting here in stillness. Feeling that opening through the glute and the hip. One more inhale here, and then exhale, release both feet back to the mat. Good. And then we'll inhale and send the right foot up toward the sky, maybe grabbing around the back of the thigh. Inhale, gently pulling that thigh towards you if you choose to do that variation. Foot is active like you're standing on it, like you're just going to stand on the sky. And then exhale, bring your right ankle to the top of your left knee into that figure 4 position, and you can either stay here or you can reach through that hole between the legs and interlace your fingers around the back of the left thigh or the front of the left shin, whatever feels best to you. So other leg, Erin. Good. And then you'll gently pull that left thigh towards you as you push the right knee away. And just breathing here. And seeing if with every exhale you can release a little bit more tension from your body, from your shoulders, from your neck, from your jaw, from the legs. And on the next exhale, release both legs to the mat, both feet to the mat. Good. And on the inhale, you're going to bring your arms, or actually hug your knees into your chest again or into your armpits, whatever feels better here. Send your arms out nice and wide. Inhale here, and then as you exhale, drop both knees to the left. So you come into this twist. And if they don't go there, so you're actually going to try to stay on your back with your arms nice and wide. Good. And if that's too much for your back, you can put a block here and maybe even one like in between. How's that feel? Does that feel okay? Okay. So remembering that you can prop yourself any way that you need to. You can either look up at the sky or you can look over either shoulder. So if you look in the same direction as your knees, this is a little bit more restorative. If you want to deepen this stretch, you can look in the opposite direction, so over the right shoulder. And see if you can release any remaining tension in the legs here and the spine. Feel the ribs widen in this twist and open up for the breath. As you take a breath, notice if you're able to breathe in a little deeper in this position. As we open the upper body. And on your next inhale, you'll start making your way back to the center with your legs. You okay?
My back. Yep, I'm all right.
So, remember, like, this is your practice. If it feels like it's too deep, you don't have to go there, And we'll send the arms out nice and wide, lift the legs up, and then let both knees drop over to the right. And you can put 2 blocks underneath the legs if you need to, or sometimes like 1 block under the bottom leg and 1 between the legs feels really good. Finding that place for your gaze. Feeling that opening through the spine and the upper body. And then we'll inhale, bring the knees back to center. And hug them in 1 more time. Maybe out towards the armpits this time so they're a little wider. Give yourself a little rock side to side. And then drop your feet to the mat again. So knees are bent, feet are pressed into the mat. Bring your feet about hip distance apart, so a little bit wider. Good. And I want you to keep your block next to you. And you can watch me if you want first. I'll show you. We're going to move into a supported bridge. So you're going to press into your feet, lift your hips, and then you can slide your block under your sacrum, which is the lowest part of your low back. You can use 1 block, or you can even use both of your blocks, like long ways under here. And then you'll just relax your back onto the blocks. Good. And then if you feel supported there, you can maybe let the palms turn up next to you. Let the head, neck, and shoulders relax on the mat. Maybe you let the eyes close. This is a very gentle inversion, so we get the hips above the heart for just a minute. Increase our blood flow. Take the weight of gravity off the diaphragm and the belly, and the low back for that matter. On your next inhale, press into the feet, lift your hips, slide your block out, and then lower down 1 vertebra at a time. And then for just a moment, we'll bring those knees back in again, out towards the armpits, nice and wide if you would like to. You don't have to. And then we can bring the head up towards the knees for just a second. And then as you exhale, just allow the whole body to come down to the mat, spread out, take as much space as you'd like to. Maybe allowing the eyes to close, and allowing a sense of rest and peace and ease to wash over the entire body for what is possibly the most important pose of our practice, savasana, or final resting pose. This is where you really reap the benefits of your practice. You've tilled the ground. You're letting your practice soak in. So just take a few moments here to connect to your breath, and then let it go, knowing that even if you don't think about it, you'll still breathe. Even if you don't think about it, your heart still beats, your body still functions, we still move through our day. starting at the toes, feel a gentle wave, almost like a warm ocean wave, wash over your toes with a sense of relaxation, releasing all the tension from your toes. And then let that wave move up through the feet, the soles of the feet, the tops of the feet, the sides, the ankles, as if your muscles were just switching off, just letting themselves be drained of tension, washed away on that wave, the breath, that wave of relaxation. Allow that sensation, that deep calm and relaxation to move up through the calves and the lower legs, releasing any tension that you're holding there. Maybe you give the calves a squeeze, tighten them, and then release them. And then do the same with the upper legs and the thighs. And feel that sense of relaxation move into your hips and your pelvis, your lower back, your belly, as it rises and falls with the breath, your upper back and chest, heart and lungs, shoulders, arms, hands, all the way out to your fingertips, just that sense of relaxation. That wave of relaxation moving into your neck, releasing any tension you might be holding there, the front of the neck, the back of the neck, the muscles of your face, the jaw, maybe allowing your tongue to come away from the roof of your mouth, your teeth to unclench, the muscles behind your ears, your nose, your eyes, your scalp, until that sense of relaxation has moved from your toes up through your entire body, and you feel completely relaxed and at ease. We've moved through effort, we move through ease, and most of the time both can coexist in the body. So whenever you feel particularly stressed, try to find that sense of relaxation that also exists there, that joy. Whenever you feel particularly tense, see if you can find a part of the body that feels loose and soft. And I'll share with you just a short poem by Maggie Smith from her book, Keep Moving. Accept that you are a work in progress, both a revision and a draft. You are better and more complete than earlier versions of yourself, but you also have work to do. Be open to change. Allow yourself to be revised. Keep moving. So starting at the top of your head, just feel one more time from the top of your head to the tips of your toes, that sense of relaxation that you've cultivated today. And then bringing your attention back to your breath and the area around you, taking all the time that you need. Maybe start to bring some movement back into the body, first by wiggling the fingers and the toes, and then moving the legs and the arms, maybe shaking the head from side to side. And just moving with ease and peace, taking all the time that you need, bringing that movement further up the body, into the body. When you're ready, turning over onto your side. Again, just resting there for a moment, taking all the time that you need. And then when you're ready, maybe using your arm to help you move up into a seated position again. get there, finding that comfortable seat, we'll finish where we started. And we'll take a breath together. So inhaling the arms up overhead. Exhale, palms together, hands to heart center. I want to thank you guys for joining me today. It was great. And I hope you found something here that you can take off the mat and into the rest of your life. So we'll inhale, press your thumbs to your forehead, maybe giving yourself a little massage, connecting your heart and your mind. And then exhale, releasing the hands down to your sides to seal your practice.